Well, hello, fellow Kansas Democrats. Gina Repass here, proud chair of the Kansas Democratic Party. And before I say anything else, let me thank all of our veterans and active duty members of our military. Thank you for your service and our freedom. Well, welcome to our weekly chair chat. For those of you joining us for the first time, what this just replaces a weekly written newsletter. And I took this from FDR's fireside chats, so I can come directly to Kansas Democrats and let you know what's going on. Now, these are pre-recorded, so if there's something you want me to talk about, highlight, or celebrate, or even if you have concerns, please email us at info@kansasdems.org. That's info@kansasdems.org. Or if there's something more pressing, please give our offices a call. We have a beautiful person answering our phones, and we try to return every call by the end of the business day, but certainly within 24 hours. Well, let's jump right in. Again, if you're joining us for the first time, what I try to do here is start with good news or sometimes not so good news or national news, and then talk about better news and best news so that we can always end on hope. We all need some hope. Well, this week we do have to start with some not so good national news. We just passed the 1-year mark of Donald Trump's inauguration, his return to the White House. And unfortunately, the election of 2024 handed this man the keys again. And let's talk about what he promised he would do and what he promised that he said he would do but hasn't done. First of all, he said he was going to lower grocery prices on day one. We went from that to having an average of 2 people in America having to feed themselves at the cost of $500 a month. In some places, that's not a lot, but right here in Kansas, that's outrageous. The other thing he said he was going to do was he's going to make it so prosperous and we're going to win, 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 win. Do you feel like you're winning? Because I can tell you his approval ratings tell you none of us feel like we are winning. Then things that he did tell us he was going to do that he did do about immigration and shutting down the border. Well, the border is effectively shut down. But now we are having a hard time for people to legally immigrate to this country. But what he didn't tell us he was going to do was put armed and masked agents on our streets of America, terrorizing American citizens, occupying American cities. And then he went to Davos this week, talking about Greenland, but luckily taco prevailed, Trump chickened out. But what a horrible distraction on the world stage. And the other question people ask me all the time is, aren't you embarrassed? Of course I am. It's not the American president supposed to do, threatening our NATO allies. It's only 1 year in, folks, but we are in 2026, and we do have an election in 2026 where we have an opportunity to take back the Congress and put a check on this out-of-control president. Another thing that we surpassed this week was the anniversary of the passage of Roe versus Wade. On January 22nd, 1973, the Supreme Court affirmed and protected a woman's right to choose. Unfortunately, 4.5 years ago, they struck that down. We must fight back and we must fight on. We also just passed the anniversary of the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. But what I want to remind you all of is that he had eternal hope in the best of all of us. And we have to keep that going. So don't be discouraged. I am hopeful about several things. One, we've got our upcoming big convention, Washington Days. We've expanded it. We're going to be back to a 3-day convention with trainings and caucuses and fellowship of Democrats and in-person forums with all of our statewide candidates and our congressional candidates. And I also want to thank people like Chris Mann, who's running for Attorney General, unopposed, and he is the best and right man for the job, and our very own Senate Minority Leader, Senator Dinah Sykes, who's running for Insurance Commissioner, again, running unopposed. She will be the best insurance commissioner in the state of Kansas. So let's end the way we always do. I'm hopeful. You be hopeful. And may God bless America. May God bless the great state of Kansas. And may God bless you all.